So if this gets a sequel, you know what it would be called, right? Buffalo Chickened? Buffalo stars Zoey Deutch as Peg, a young hustler who is just released from prison, and is now living with her mom, played by Judy Greer, looking for her next big score. When she happens upon a debt collecting agency in her hometown of Buffalo, she seizes upon the opportunity to join in, though she realizes she's in over her head when she finds herself at odds with the leaders involved in the shady underworld, which results in a war. This was actually released on demand and also had a small theatrical release back in February. I didn't get around to it at the time, but with the movie world still being kind of slow, I had the opportunity to catch up with some movies I missed from earlier in the year, this being one of them. And this was a fun watch. I will say right up front, Zoey Deutch is a vastly underrated talent. She was very good in Everybody Wants Some, and she was by far one of the funniest parts in Zombieland Double Tap. And she's on her way to becoming one of the funniest comedians in the movie industry. This film allowed her to really just let loose and have a lot of fun. It starts with her character chasing after someone because they took off with some of her money, and she's screaming in the streets, firing a gun at them, and cursing at them, before her narration cuts in and she bluntly states to not mess with her money. And right there, that sets the tone for the entire movie. This is a very high-energy film. In most scenes, we get characters insulting one another, cursing each other out, threatening each other, getting into fights, but it's all played for laughs, and some of it's very funny, especially since the comedic timing is very quick. Characters talk fast, get into rapid-fire exchanges, and won't miss a beat when talking to one another. We see this especially as Peg gets more involved with the debt collectors, and they're all just hanging around their office, making fun of one another. There's very much a Wolf of Wall Street vibe to this movie. A lot of conversations of the debt collectors shaking people down for money will feel very similar to how DiCaprio and his gang ripping people off in that movie. Characters are seen widely celebrating when they got one over on someone, just like DiCaprio does. And Zoey Deutch narrates this movie with very blunt, profanity-riddled observations, while also breaking the fourth wall, just like DiCaprio does. If you haven't seen The Wolf of Wall Street before seeing this probably won't mean much to you, and you may actually have more of an appreciation for this film. But if you have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, while this isn't like a scene-by-scene recreation or anything, it can feel like too much of a copy at times. And similar to The Wolf of Wall Street, part of what makes this fun can also be its biggest problem for some people. And that's how pretty much none of the characters are likable, even the ones we're supposed to be rooting for. Peg is the protagonist, but she's certainly not a hero. She's essentially proud of the fact that she hustles people and rips them off and wears that proudly on her sleeve. And she retains that mentality for nearly all the movie. I mean, she's not totally heartless, she has a family and she cares about them, but most things she does here are for her own selfish interests. Like, she goes to war with her former boss, trying to take business away from him, and he's obviously a way worse person than her, but she's still taking part in the same shady business as he is. She's still planning on being a debt collector and ripping people off. The only crisis of conscience she has is really to not be a better person in general, but to just not be as bad of a person as he is. It's a case of bad people versus horrible people. I'd say the only moral center of this movie is Jermaine Fowler, as a lawyer who prosecuted Peg that landed her in prison at the beginning of the movie, and then reconnects with her once she's out of prison. They regularly see each other at Peg's brother's bar, and he tries talking her out of getting involved with the wrong people, and they form a connection, and then he tries keeping her from doing anything worse than she's already doing. It's safe to say he's probably the only character I'd consider likable. Actually, probably along with Judy Greer as Peg's mom. Now, that's not to say that the small amount of likable characters makes this a totally unenjoyable experience. Like I said, it's actually pretty funny, even if everything said is not by a good person. The insults were witty, there were moments of physical humor that I enjoyed, and the blunt narration got a few good laughs out of me. Like I said earlier, Zoey Deutch in particular is a very underrated talent. And the reason why I laughed as much as I did in this movie was thanks to her. She has such an excellent sense of comedic timing. Like, she'd say something in a mocking tone, mimicking how someone else would say something, while getting in an insult, but saying it with such a straight face that I just bust out laughing. And anytime someone tried shutting her down, she'd fire back at them twice as hard with something incredibly snarky that had me roaring with laughter. Her performance was incredibly strong and was what held the movie together overall. And even though she's playing a totally unlikable character, she's just a lot of fun to watch. This was fun, even if it was far from perfect. I wouldn't say it wins in the originality department because it has so many similarities to The Wolf of Wall Street, and it's focused on a group of characters who are really not sympathetic people, including its protagonist. So that may be a turnoff for some people, and it does become an issue at times. That being said, it can be quite funny, with a really high energy that makes the hour and a half go by quick. And at the center of it all is a fantastic lead performance by Zoey Deutch, whose comedic timing should not be overlooked. Her performance alone is enough to make this worth checking out, even if only every so often. Buffaloed gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Buffaloed, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it funny? Did you enjoy Zoey Deutch's performance, and do you want to see her in more starring roles? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time.